Welcome everybody with the Stay True Committed podcast. This is your host, Karen Oliver, and today I have a special guest with me, Carrie Veatch. Carrie, did I say your last name correct?
You
Okay,
absolutely did.
wonderful. I was spot on. All right, you guys, happy new year, just in case you guys don't hear it enough. Happy 2022. And I'm so glad to have Carrie with me. You guys know we've been talking about dedication and different topics around dedication and just how we can be dedicated and submitted to the things in our lives. So we're going to talk to Carrie. Um, about how she helps females, and we're going to ask Carrie about how can we just stay dedicated as far as mindset and as far as working around that mindset or whatever. We know that she serves women, she helps female entrepreneurs, and she helps them build that mindset and that confidence. And so, Carrie, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself, what you do, and how did you get started?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Karen. I'm so excited to have this conversation. The short story of what I say always, the twisty, windy road of how I got here is I am trained as a therapist. So I got my master's in counseling many years ago. And I just always had this deep desire to help people, and really with the deeper parts of life. Like, I joke that I hate small talk. It makes me want to poke my eyeballs out. And I just want to know, what are you about? How can I help you? How can we make sure that you are tapping into your gifts and utilizing those so you can serve the world? But I, like many people, had a lot of money stuff and things in the way when it came to actually wanting to be an entrepreneur. Like, I didn't think I wanted to be. And then when I discovered the online world back in probably 2017, I was like, wait, you can work from anywhere and you don't have to have a 9-to-5 job that you hate. And so I instantly was drawn in, but I had too many fears, so much stuff going on internally of putting myself out there, of actually starting the business. And fast forward to now, like, I absolutely love it because I'm very nomadic and I like to be able to work from anywhere in the world with a Wi-Fi connection and help clients to really learn what it is that actually matters in building a business. And as cliche as it is, so much of it is the internal work and starts
Oh
with
yeah,
the stories that we're telling ourselves.
yeah, that is awesome, Carrie. Because I was like you too at first. I was like, what? Like I always thought, I was like, I was just dealing with the status quo. Oh yeah, I'm just going to work for a company forever. Like I don't really know what I want to do. But it's not until you get to a place that you set in for yourself. You've been helping and you've been serving women, all along, and you like your purpose is right in front of you, and you really don't realize it. And then when you start, like I said, when the pandemic came in, I think pretty much everybody it kind of like settled in. Either they picked back up their entrepreneurship or they actually just started. And I know for me, when 2019 was ending is when things start settling in. It was like, this I can do this. And like you said, everything had went online and everything. And so I just feel like it's just something that you just have to be scared doing it, right?
Absolutely. And that's one of the biggest secrets, right? Like, we see people that are 100 miles ahead of us and we think like, they've got it all sorted out. They don't have fear. And I'm like, no, everyone's got fear. And if I had secrets to share with the world, it would be like, learn your own patterns and
Yes.
know how to work through them, because it's learning to have fear be in the passenger seat versus the driver's seat.
Hmm.
And that's going to look different for everyone. But even the most successful people have fears and doubts and things that they have to work through every single day.
Yes. Yes. And sometimes we think that it's just, it's just us, but it's like, look, everybody has a challenge. Like we have to, it's like we have to accept challenge. Challenge is gonna always be in the way, but it's like, what do we think that they went through? Just for instance, the owner of Target, just to name a few, I'm saying business owners, people who started, from the ground up. I'm pretty sure they had to go through so many challenges. So it's not going to be an easy road, but you still want to love doing it. And it's a process. But to be your own boss, to make your own schedule. But like you say, you gotta have to have a mindset for it, Carrie. So how do we keep a mindset? How do you stay dedicated around building your dream, building and becoming an entrepreneur?
Yeah. So I am really happy to have this conversation right now because I think everyone is like, January 2022, let's go so big. And I'm all for that. And what I would almost advise people to do instead is micro habits and small commitments to yourself. So you don't blow out your nervous system. So you don't go out the gate sprinting. And then by mile 2, there's no way you're going to finish the marathon. Versus like, if we just learn, like, what is one like, honestly, I would start so small with what is one habit that you can stick to for 30 days.
Yeah.
And then you stack on top of that, because once it's actually ingrained in you and it's a habit, like let's say mindfulness, I would encourage everyone to have some type of mindfulness practice as a starting place when it comes to your mindset. And this, again, can be anything. It can be 5 things you write down every day for 30 days that you're grateful for. And that's it. Like, it can be so small. It can take you 2 minutes every morning. But once you start to do that and you follow through with that commitment, you build trust within yourself. Because what happens is we try to do 17 things at once and then we don't do them. And then we have all these inner critic thoughts like, see, you can't stick with your commitment. You're a start stopper. You're someone who doesn't follow through. Right.
Yeah.
Versus like, if you just do one, commit to that, then you can say, oh, I am someone who follows through on my commitments. Like, I wrote down 5 pieces of gratitude every day for 30 days. Like, look at me. I'm someone who can be trusted.
Yeah, you know what? I'm so glad that you implemented on that, because that is so important. Like you said, start small, like in increments, 30 days, and then you probably can go ahead and boost yourself up for another 30 days. And then you can look back and say, okay, sometimes I committed to some of these things, some things I didn't. So even the things that you did commit on, okay, this is something that we got to keep challenging ourselves to stay committed to, because like you said before, even busting out there to the world and putting your things out there to the community, they want to know that they can trust you, and they want to know that you are committed to yourself and to your work. So that's good.
Absolutely. And just to remember, like, you can do more than that, but know yourself, right? Some of us, I heard this piece of advice from a coach of a program I'm in recently and was just so reminded how true this is. Like, know yourself. Some people are like back against the wall. I have to make money. I will sort it out. I will make it work. Right. Other people are like back against the wall. I'm going to shut down, freeze, and do nothing. And that's the worst thing that's ever happened to me. So there's no one size fits all formula here.
Right.
So I really encourage clients to know yourself and like what you need.
Exactly.
So do you need some accountability? Do you need some support? Can you make yourself so right for needing that, and go get that, because that's how you're going to show up. Like, do that, barter, invest. Like, there's so many ways to get creative around this, but like, know what you need in order to not quit on yourself.
And that's good. That also, Carrie, goes back to personal development. Like you said, knowing yourself. What is it that you need? What is it that you desire? Because you don't want to just start, get out there and starting things and be like, okay, I really didn't want to do this. So it's like, why did you do it? So it's like, we have to be the ones to do the homework first. It's like, you have to do some homework in this so you can get started as an entrepreneur. That's, when mindset kicks in. Yeah.
Absolutely. Like the saying I remind clients of often, and myself, is like, no one can do the push-ups for you. Like, a coach, a program, whomever, a mentor, anyone can like lay out a plan for you, but they can't do the push-ups for you.
Exactly. And I'm glad that you say that, Carrie, because, as a coach, clients, and I've even heard people say it outside, that they may not even be a client to any other coach, but I've heard them say, well, a lot of times they'll ask the question, well, what can you lay it on the line? What can you do for me? And when we lay it on the line as a coach, like you said, as coaches, we still have to implement this too. I can't do the work for you. You have to do the work. I can delegate it and I can
Mhm.
help you stay accountable, but you have to do the work. So when someone says, well, I really didn't receive what I thought I was going to receive from such and such, and I've been on conference call where I've heard, our prospects say this too. Well, I didn't receive what I needed to receive, and so I heard another coach say, well, did you do your homework? Okay, if
Mm.
they did the work, did you do your homework? So I think it's important because that's even, for an example for us, as a coach, if I got a goal that I need to reach for the end of 2022. If I don't act on the goal, I've talked about this too in one of my master classes. If I don't act on it, and then it's just going to be sitting there, I'm not going to reach it because I didn't do anything. I was waiting for it to fall in my lap. Nothing is going to fall into your lap. So you got to act on what you want to happen.
Yes. And I think with what you just said, Karen, it's so important, the mindset shift, that I really have had to take on myself and encourage clients to always take on is that giving yourself permission. Because with what you just said is so critical. Like there's such a different mindset for being an employee versus an entrepreneur.
Mhm.
And if we're waiting for someone to give us permission, we're going to keep waiting. Like
Right.
you have to give yourself permission and do the internal work around like worthiness and deservingness and like who told you you couldn't have these things, what lies are you believing? Like we all have them and that's okay.
Right.
And you get to be the one that decides, like you show up for your life, you show up for your business, and it's possible for you.
Yeah, I'm glad that too, that you touched on that, Carrie, because even I was saying before, on one of my calls, I was saying before, like if we can listen to other people's opinions just like others can listen to our opinions. And it's good that we do that because they're just showing respect. But at the end of the day, like you said, Carrie, it is your decision. It is your decision to decide I can do this. If somebody else tell me I can't do it, I shouldn't feed into that because this is something that I do desire. If they think that I can't do it, guess what? I can show them better than I can tell them. But I mean, like you said, show up for yourself and be like, no, this is something that is dear to me. This is dear to my heart. It's a passion of mine. And so I'm going to get the help and resources to do this because, we all can't do everything by ourselves. Like we do need
No.
some accountability. We do need resources and stuff like that. So like you said, at the end of the day, you got to make the decision whether you want to win or not. So can you talk to us a little bit? You help with financial freedom, right? You talk
Mm-hmm.
about financial freedom.
Yeah. So there's so many different ways to go about this, but one of the things that I love reminding the world of clients of is that you're so much more capable than you think.
That's
And
good.
so, like, let's say that you're in your journey and you're like, okay, I've had some clients, but I'm struggling. First of all, I bring everything back to like, what are the thoughts you're thinking? And a lot of this work is really about unlearning. So maybe you think work has to be hard, making lots
Mhm.
of money has to be hard. Like most of us have some of those thoughts in our conditioning, right? Like we've been taught to work hard for what you want. And I have nothing against hard work. I'm all for it when it's needed. However, I'm all for working smarter versus harder in the
Yes.
grand scheme of things. And so much of that is like starting with your thoughts. Like, what if you just got curious and you're like,
Mhm.
it feels hard to sign clients. It feels hard to scale my business and to make more. Okay. So like what are the thoughts I'm thinking that are harming me? And then how do I feel as a result of thinking those thoughts? Usually what clients tell me is like, oh, I'm thinking this, it's hard, and then I feel really crappy. And it's like, well, of course you do, because that's not helping you to build your business and scale it. So we start with the inner work of like, what are the narratives? And then
Mhm.
how do we begin to shift those? Because when you are confident, when you are sold on the work that you do, Like you're going to go out and make more offers in your business because you're genuinely coming from this place of service. So the magic that I like coach and teach on is really not magic. It's just getting sold on your work, the internal stuff. And then it's helping people. Of course, there's some strategies that we need in place. You need to know how to sell and make offers in your business. However, most of it really does come down to the inner work of like, what am I telling myself? And then out of that place, am I taking my inspired action each day and committed to my vision and my goals? And so I love doing this work because it applies to anyone. It's like, if you're a web designer, if you're a coach, if you're a consultant, if you're a whatever, like I help clients scale their businesses, because when you know you have a service and you're not attaching your worth to it, right? A lot of us like high achievers then can get our worth caught up in the money, and that's a different untangling. But you want to go out and you want to help more people. And that's where I see my clients' businesses explode, is when they're just so in that place of service and like commitment to their mission.
Yeah. And that's the key word I noticed that, you keep saying too as well, is knowing yourself and being committed to, that you have a service, like you said. So if I'm committed to it and I have that zeal and drive for it and I'm going out there, that's your like number one selling market right there, because you're confident and you're committed to what you're doing. And that's pretty much what we drive, at WCD coaching. Like if you're not committed to your dreams, and if you're not committed to your purpose, and then it's no use, because it'll never get established if you're not committed to it. And a lot of people think that, and like you said, there's a lot of, resources and systems and stuff out here that can help businesses prolong, but in ideally, you got to be the one to push it, actually, because the system is just a system, resources is a system, but you've got to be the one to push it. And like you said, it's not easy. It's hard work.
Yeah. Well,
but like you said, you want to work smarter than.
Absolutely. And, two things. So one, is the reminder I have from mentors in my life is like, you have a duty and obligation when you have a way to help people to show up. It's being unattached to the outcome in terms of which clients work with you. There's an abundance of clients out there for everyone. But the truth is like, if you don't show up and share your message and make offers, that person who deeply desires that service is going to go hire someone. So if you don't talk about the way you can help someone, they're going to go hire someone else down the street. So like, why not you?
Right.
And then if you really are a service provider, your business is not about yourself. So the thing is like, it's not about me at all, ever in my business, right? It's about me helping clients to build that multiple six-figure business that they want, working from anywhere. And I desire and I love getting to be a part of that process. So anytime my mind's playing tricks on me, or I feel selfish or greedy or wrong or any of that stuff, I just switch into that of coming from this deep level of service. And then I'm like, okay, I can work through my stuff because I'm helping other people.
Yeah. And that's the number one product right there. It's not about me. It's about my audience and who I can reach, not only reach, but what are they going to benefit from what I am serving to them? How are they going to benefit? And so they can go back and grab someone else and be like, hey, like such and such really, have a great system in place, to have great service or whatever. That's what you want, the people who are attached to, your business to say. So I definitely agree with that.
Absolutely.
So as a mindset coach, is that correct? You're a mindset coach, right? So what are some of the strategies that you teach your clients as far as mindset?
Yeah. So one of the top things I teach people, especially if you're not familiar with this, is simply learning to observe your thoughts. Like I wish
Mm.
I had learned this years ago. To me, I don't remember learning this as a therapist. Maybe I did, but like, I don't know. And so the first step I really take people through is like learning to just witness your thoughts, like
Mm.
observing them, not making them wrong, not making yourself wrong, but being like, okay, what is my brain feeding me? Because we can't change them or shift them or heal them if we don't even know what they are.
Right.
So we have to start with just observing our thoughts. And so that could look like, all right, so my brain says I'm annoying, I'm selfish, I am a screw up, I don't know, whatever your inner critic is. Like you just start to notice what those thoughts are.
Right. Right.
And then it's like the separating out of like, I am not my thoughts. I have thoughts that are unhelpful, right?
Right.
And so some of this is honestly so simple and subtle, but we're just not trained to know how to do this. Like nobody's really in school, at least, teaching us these
Exactly.
things. They're teaching us like how to add and how to do things that I don't know, have not benefited me as much as this has. So I teach clients to start observing it. And then the formula, which, to me is very simple, but we have to put it into practice, is choosing more empowering thoughts. So
Mm.
we're observing those thoughts not serving us, and we pick some more empowering thoughts. And then with that, we don't want to stay there because otherwise we'll just stay in our cognitive brain. And it's really hard to make change if we're just thinking all the time.
Mm-hmm.
We have to get into our bodies. And so
Yeah.
we have to feel how it is on, like, a lot of manifestation coaches or people will teach being on the other side. So like, how will you feel when you have a full coaching business? How will you feel when you get that dream house? And we want to
Right.
tap into that feeling state and practice. So we're also not just training our brain, but we're retraining our body how to
Mm.
feel and be in that new existence.
That's good. That is really good. And you said something about just us in the world not knowing how to do that. That's so true because I was just thinking about my daughter when you say that, and I said they teach them all of the math and the reading and the science and stuff like that, but nobody's training them how to just observe their thoughts and how
Mm.
they really feel and why are you feeling that way, so what way do
Mm.
you want to feel. And I think a lot of the I just really think a lot of the bullying and fighting, and I know this is another subject, but I think a lot of that would pretty much diminish
Mm.
if they, like you said, if they were taught and trained to really observe the way that they feel and why they feel that way. Because like you said,
Yes.
we never was really taught that. Yeah.
No. And, I think what especially is important to note, like when you're first getting into this work, or if you're in the personal development space, is like, there's nothing wrong with you for having really unhelpful thoughts. I always like to normalize that because the other
Mm-hmm.
thing that can happen is we go so far on the pendulum that we're like, oh my gosh, something's wrong with me. All these other people have it figured out.
Mm-hmm.
And I just always want to give permission, like, your brain is a brain. Its job is to keep you safe. And so just knowing how to do this work is, again, witnessing those thoughts and
Uh-huh.
recognizing that some of that's going to come up at every new level because
Yeah.
your brain is trying to protect you.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's I'm glad that you said that too, because um I think a reason why a lot of people are fearful at some point of talking about their thoughts or something like that because they think it's not normal to feel a certain type of way of thinking. I mean, we probably got crazy stuff going through our heads, but then we kind of like snap back into it. Okay, let's think of lovely things, happy things, peaceful things, or whatever. But like you said, it's normal for us to think that way.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And I think it's just important to have more conversations like this, right? Because
Yes.
it does normalize it, where I think we can see people again at, either 3 steps ahead of us or 100 steps ahead of us. And we think like, oh my gosh, they have the secret. I don't have it figured out. And I'm just like, no,
Right.
everyone is sorting it out as they go. Like, please know that.
Exactly. Exactly. So they're like, even Carrie, I had mentioned this on the podcast like 2 weeks ago when I was saying that I'm in one of the programs of Dave Ramsey's
Mm.
programs. And, I was talking a little bit about, financial, and I'm glad that you speak on financial freedom too, as well as because I'm like, okay, so you think that, I'm a coach in these areas, so you think I got it together. No, I don't have it. There are some things that I am lacking in where I have to actually have a coach to get these things together in because just because these areas don't mean that I'm good at those areas. And I think a lot of people don't realize that as well.
Exactly. And I say all the time, like, I coach and teach around this stuff because I deeply need it. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
have needed this work. I continue to need this work. I I know that I have quote unquote mastered it enough to teach it. And yet I'm still also just like a baby beginner student in other ways because
Yeah.
every single day I have to wake up and do this work.
Yes. Yes. Every day. It's like every day. It's like, okay, so what I just taught, like you said, so what I just taught, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I need. I mean, daily affirmations. I gotta say it every day too. I gotta make declarations. I gotta make a goal. I gotta make a business plan just the same way that you did. I gotta write in my personal journal just the same way that you got up. And you wasn't having a good day one day. Guess what? One day last week I wasn't having a good day. And like you said, we all have to do this. We're all in this together. So even when we're teaching something and coaching something, it's for us too. So what are some recommendations that you can give to the audience, especially females that are either looking to build in entrepreneurship or whether they got started and stopped? What are some advice that you can give them today?
Yeah. So my really simple tips would be because I like to keep business simple. I really do because there's so much out there. It's so
Yeah.
easy to be overwhelmed and it's so easy to get shiny object syndrome in terms of like going down the rabbit hole with social media or other places.
Yeah.
So number one is get clear on the way that you help clients. So
Mm.
what is the transformation or result that clients get from working with you? And if you don't know yet, can you put yourself out there and get either a free client or a beta client to test it
Uh-huh.
first? Because where I see, and the reason I really have been speaking to this a lot is I see so many people struggling with their mindset as a result of working behind the scenes, building a course, building a program, and not
Mhm.
actually getting live feedback first. And usually it's because we're afraid and we want to like do the
Right.
things that don't actually matter, right? Build
Right.
your website, do all the Canva graphics. None of that actually matters as much as helping people. So go help someone, and run it at a lower price point or a free client if you haven't tested
Mhm.
it yet. But
Mhm.
you want to be really clear on what that is. And then can you allow it to be really simple? So have that offer, have a way to charge people and
Mhm.
literally just show up, rinse, repeat until you fill that program and you know exactly how to sell that. You
Exactly.
don't need tons of bells and whistles. Like you can literally have a six-figure business with a website, like one social media platform and a PayPal link. Like you can actually do this very easily, but everything's going to lead you to believe you need the fancy funnel and you need
Exactly.
17 social media accounts. Like don't buy into that hype. Like go help people.
Yeah.
Network and referrals as well is what I will add because relationships are everything when it comes to
Oh yeah.
business.
Yeah. I definitely agree, Carrie. I'm glad you said that relationships and connections is so important. And like you said, just putting yourself out there and connecting with the people in your circle that you're going to need that's going to help you, flourish, and definitely being clear, like you said, on the message. And like you said, even for me starting out, either like you said, offering to a prospect a lower price, or either just doing a session with them for free. Is different many ways that you can do it, but like you say, you definitely got to be confident in what you're selling and what you're doing. So thank you so much for that advice. So can you tell everyone how they can follow you or get in touch with you if they would like to with a discovery call?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have two main ways you can find me online, besides my website, but on Instagram, setyourselffree.llc. And I have a free Facebook community as well. It's called the Set Yourself Free Community. So come follow along, join either of those places. And then I would also be happy to jump on a discovery call as well. I do 30-minute calls, and you can find that at my website, setyourselffreellc.com.
Thank you so much, Carrie, and everybody. I definitely will have the links posted in the bio if you happen to forget that. And thank you so much, Carrie, for coming to share just your expertise on mindset coaching and financial freedom and how to stay dedicated as a female entrepreneur. We definitely need it. I definitely took some notes and tips from that as well. And thank you so much for coming out of your busy schedule today to speak with us on the Stay True Committed podcast.
Thank you so much, Karen. This was so fun.
Thank you. And we will talk to you soon. Thank you so much. Bye
Thank
bye.
you.